Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Damage Does D&D. This week, back on Sundays with our lovely campaign, which is the Investigators. I nearly forgot that. I do apologise. And it is me. That would have been really embarrassing because I've pushed for it to be called the Investigators. And yeah. Okay. Without further ado, I will hand you over to DM Martin.
Hello there. So, where we picked up last week was the party racing towards the next rift that was opening. When it did, a pulse seemed to pass through the landscape, turning this lush green landscape to ash. And stood near the centre of where this pulse emanated was a large mechanical clockwork golem, which proceeded to try to murder the party. But in turn, they murdered it back, and better.
Yes, we did.
It, however, did have the final say as apart from inside of it exploding, causing large amounts of damage, and taking one of the party down, but quickly rescued and dealt with. And then we headed back. Having seen, looking out, or Mazdak was up in the sky and looking around, could see lots more of these monsters, with a large group of them heading to the south. The party, however, went back to the northwest, back to the capital, to consort with the mercenary guild, of which Sasha is a member, or ex-member. There's still work. There's still work there if you want it. And discussions were had. You also went off to go and speak to the clerics of the local church, and they offered their assistance with healing, should they need it, should you people need it. And then we went for some rest back at the Shadow Singers. So you can, of course, all take a long rest as you rest through the night.
Marvellous.
And we'll pick back up in the morning. As each of you awaken, you can hear sounds of things happening, people moving around, glasses and pans clattering as breakfast begins to be served in the main chamber of this basement bar hideout place.
Definitely head down for some breakfast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. As you all walk in, have a look round, there's a few people sat down eating some breakfast. Noticeably, in their usual booth, Asriel is sat talking with someone. Sasha, this person looks familiar to you.
In a good way?
In a good way?
Okay. Who is it?
It would be one Lord Adalyn Hartwood.
Daddy! I will immediately go over to the table.
As they catch you in their peripheral, they turn, see you, jump up, and just bear hug you.
Hello, Father.
Sasha, I'm so pleased that you're okay.
Of course. Would you expect anything else of me?
Of course not. I've travelled through the night to come and find you. I heard you were back in the country. Asriel got a message to me.
I'm glad.
Things are dire.
They are indeed. That's why I thought it best that the noble families were spoken to by somebody a little bit more diplomatic than myself.
Who are you attacking, Grub?
That was an accident, sorry.
You hit, though. It was a good roll. Sorry. Yes. I we rode through the night to get here. I left with a dozen men. We came across one of these things.
Are
And
you okay? Have you been injured?
I am fine. The others stepped in to allow me to escape. I have not heard from them since.
And for that, I'm sorry. But I am glad that you are safe.
Well, I came when I heard you were here, and now all this is happening. I'm not quite sure what is to be done.
We need to gather as many forces as we can to take out this threat before it's too late. And the entire country gets decimated.
Have you encountered one?
We fought one yesterday.
And you killed it?
It nearly killed a couple of us. But yes, we did manage to defeat it. But this thing exploded on death, and it hurt. So we need some way to contain that. One of my new companions managed to seal up the gas that leaked from inside the creature. The mechanical golem, I think they called it.
Oh. I apologize. Your friends, please introduce.
Of course. This is Mazdak. He is
Hello, my name's
Wizard.
Mazdak. I am a wizard. We are the investigators sent by the Mage Council to investigate the rifts and gather information and generally investigate everything.
He likes to talk. Mazdak, this is my father, Dallin Hotwood.
Ah, pleased to meet you.
Pleasure.
And then we have Kroll, we have Dalen, and we have Bernia.
It is my honor to meet the esteemed friends of Sasha. Sasha, you're working for the mages.
For the moment, they are paying relatively well, and the experience is good. I get to travel quite far across the country. Across the continent, really.
Yes, amazing. Just what you wanted to go and see the world. Do
Yes.
good, I hope.
Well, I can definitely tick face off a red dragon off my to-do list.
You fought a red dragon.
We pissed one off.
Well, escaped from more than fought.
I am not surprised.
But we also made friends with another one that was not quite so
A golden
temperamental.
A gold one?
Yes.
Indeed.
Well, you do know how to make friends and enemies. You haven't changed, I see.
Of course not.
So we need to get back to Loughton to form some sort of defense against these things. If you fought one, your collective experience would be very useful.
We're trying to gather as many spellcasters as we possibly can to assist us in this, but unfortunately with the rift opening quite so recently, that does not permit travel via the usual ways.
Oh.
I must admit, though, I'm not overly familiar with most things magical. I leave that to Carl, Dalen, and Mazdak.
So, magic, Quell, Dalen, Mazdak, magic can't be used in the...
not for teleportation. No. You
Oh.
may well end up somewhere, or somewhen, that you really didn't want to be.
Well, part of your mind.
Well, yes, indeed, if you arrive at all.
Well, best to avoid that then, whether all or part of you does or doesn't.
Quite.
Good. So, have it, before we ran into the thing, we found a group of two or three dead bodies, but they looked very strange. Have there been any reports of people coming through the rift?
Well,
Not that I'm aware of.
yes.
Oh,
There are, yes. There was a rift on some islands back near Cantisha where people from the past were dragged through the rift.
oh yes, you
they-
managed to upset them, didn't you, Murdoch?
Well, I did try to talk to them, and they then tried to kill me. But you know, it's an overreaction, I think. But yes, they were definitely people, and large reptiles were through. Dinosaur of some kind did come through at that point. We believe that this rift has brought things from the future back to our time, whereas the previous one was from the past into our time.
Well, this is all beyond my understanding, but it seems good people are looking into it at least.
Where
certainly.
are the bodies of the people you found?
I'm sorry, say that again, Taylor.
Where are the bodies of the people you found?
To the west of Rikwalfak.
Right. Well, we
We
should
had
go
to
there.
travel south, south of the town. We saw fire. I worry for the place. But as we travelled south of the city, we ended up heading up to the northwest on the main road, and we saw them just off of the path there.
Right. So we should go and investigate those.
I think that would be a good idea.
Have you rallied the families?
We
Is
had,
anyone being difficult?
of course, most of them. Least
Maybe
of
my
all.
style of diplomacy is going to be the what gets it through to them.
You know what they're like, Sasha. I fear the only thing that will get through to them is too many deaths. But we must try. Azrael has been trying to contact the three houses of Onan to try and organise a meeting. I think that's
Can my party attend? Having first-hand experience with the creatures
of course.
might be more compelling evidence.
Yes. Well, we are in talks at the moment to try and get them together. I feel that approaching small numbers of houses at a time to try and get some communication going rather than going to all of them in one go, especially as travel across the country is exceedingly dangerous at the moment.
They need to understand one thing alone. They ally together and maybe they survive, or they fight alone and they will die. That is not an if or a when or a but. They will die.
Yes. Well,
They don't have a choice in this.
Well, I've seen one of these things. You have fought and defeated one of these things. They have not.
Yeah.
it may be difficult. But if you're going to investigate the bodies that we found, I'll mark on a map for you where I think we saw them. I will do my best here to talk with the heads of the houses. It's probably about 3 hours ride from here, so we'll see you this afternoon.
Certainly.
I think we'll be walking. They are a little bit on the expensive side when it comes to the horses here.
None of it, Sasha. We will supply you with horses.
Thank you, Father. Have you
Go ahead.
contacted Alaric and Elwyn?
I've sent messengers that way to Shlu, yes. We'll see. Right. And he just gives you another big hug and just says, be safe.
Of course. You too, Father.
And he pulls up a map. He's got a map on him, of course.
Obviously.
Draws us up.
I imagine Azrael pulls one out because he's probably got maps all over the place.
Somebody supplies a map. He draws a circle. To the southeast of where you are, somewhere around there, I think.
Thank you. Where is this meeting? I think we need to go and try and convince some people.
It's yet to be organised, but hopefully upon your return we will have the details sorted.
Very well. Does anybody need supplies before we go?
I don't think so. Just we need to, horses.
My father is supplying us with that.
Okay.
Mazdak, is your book what your main focus for your spellcasting?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do me a favor and hold it out for me. So I've got my notebook out open.
And what is it you're trying to do to my book?
I'm going to enhance it slightly.
In what way?
Well, for a start, it's going to make it easier for your spells to hit. And if people are hiding behind rocks, they're going to be able to get hit anyway.
Well, you see, I'm not sure. Well,
Mazdak is very particular about his book. He won't let anybody else touch it.
well, you see, okay. See, Mazdak is not overly keen on letting anybody else touch his book.
I'm not going to touch it. Literally just need him to hold it out.
Okay, it's closed. Gingerly
That's
sort of
fine.
hold it a
And
little
you'll see
way.
Kroll pull a slight spell weave from his own book and sort of just drape it over Mazdak's. So he's now got an enhanced arcane focus. You gain +1 to spell attack rolls and you ignore half cover when making a spell attack.
Okay, that's interesting.
I gained another infusion on the level up.
Notes. Okay, cool. All right, lovely. Thank you.
Are we ready to go? Has everybody eaten adequately?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that an item or a spell?
It's an infusion, so it's. I suppose it would be classed as a spell. It's part of the artificer's, I think.
It works like an enchantment as such.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Yeah,
Difficult to do on D&D Beyond.
it is, yeah. I'll just have to make a note. I've got +1 to spell attacks.
And you ignore half cover
Okay, I'll
with
make a
the
note.
attack rolls.
Does it add to damage rolls or is it just attack rolls?
Just attack rolls.
Does it affect DCs?
No, it's just spell attack rolls.
Pew pew.
Well, your Eldritch Blast would be a bit more.
If you go in the inventory,
Yeah.
there's an item called Infused Spellbook,
Is
which
Ah.
the spellbook has been infused by an artificer
Gotcha.
Perfect. There you go.
and gains a +1 bonus to a spell attack rolls and ignores half cover.
Infused spellbook.
And now that's now 3 different pronunciations of that
The
class.
correct one is artificer.
Cool. Thank you very much.
I did wonder if you were going to allow that, but I saw the roll. Right, so as all that's happened, you could have bagged up some of the food that was buffet style laid out for people,
Sure.
and head upstairs. As you get outside, there's a rather well-dressed lady with with nothing, who approaches you as you walk out and says, "Miss Hartwood, we have your horses ready if you would like to come with me."
Of course. Thank you.
And just lead you out to the edge of the city to a different stable than the one you tried to rent horses from. And they are just saddled up and handed over to you. Please be sure to return them here when you come back to the city.
Of course.
Thank
I
you
will,
very much.
Thank you.
Call out to my elk, who I would have left outside the city to.
Does that stay then? You don't just summon it when you need it. It's always
Yeah,
around.
it's it basically stays there.
It's
I can dismiss it, but I'd have to cast the spell again to bring it back.
right. So it's basically a familiar.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I would have left it outside the city, and I can call it back within a mile of me.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, that'll come trotted over, and you can leave one of the horses. And the 5 of you can set off towards the coordinates. Galloping along. Feel free to say anything as you travel. There's a couple of hours travel to go on.
Yes, I'm just going to be making sure that my book is okay. After Kral put this thing on it, a web. Okay. And I will just flick to the back of my book with my summon my quill and write in the back of the book. Does this still work? Question mark.
No, your lust for power has broken it.
That's the right person. Yes, there you go.
I will just sort of big grin, hold the book to me again as I'm sort of riding.
Very good. Anyone gonna take a look out as you travel?
Oh yeah, be keeping an eye out.
Okay. Well, anyone who's doing so.
Yeah, I'm also going to sort of take just. Actually, no, I can't because I've been messing with my book. Ignore me.
The messing with the book would have taken a couple of minutes at most.
Okay, well, I'll take a look for any of these mechanical creatures or anything else odd or strange that's come through the rift. So, perception check. Yeah, I don't see anything. I got an 8.
You are more focused on the book.
Yeah.
Tasha, you're also a little distracted with all the stuff that's going on. Galen, you're nice and clear-headed. You can see numbers of these. It looks like, what was it, 22? It looks like there's groups of them forming. One sort of directly east of the capital, one further south of you. None on the main road that you're travelling. But there's worrying groups of these beginning to emerge. So you travel. Sorry,
I was
go on.
just going to say, best hurry then.
So,
Nothing's a direct threat to us at the moment, though.
no, nothing in your immediate vicinity.
Fine.
Yeah, so you travel for 2 to 3 hours and you kind of hit that point in the map where you think, or where the area was circled. And he said that it was north of them as they were on that road. So if you're heading west out of Rick Walfak, if you need me to show the city map, sorry, the country map, I can. Okay, I might as well put that up on screen. So you can see that.
Yeah.
So, yes, Lord Hartwood had sort of travelled from Melbourne, had come round the south of Rick Walfak and was heading up this way, and sort of pointed at a spot. I don't know if you can see my mouse.
We cannot see your mouse at the moment.
You can't. I'll be able to. Can I just draw something? I don't know how to use this thing. Never mind. But yes, somewhere sort of, I don't know, 20% of the road from Rick Walfak up to Onan, sort of 20%.
Yeah.
Completed on there is where this had been circled, and he said it was off to the north from there. So as you approach that area, sort of veer off to the left a little bit to
Okay.
go and investigate. The area you're in is within that diameter of ashen ground that you'd fought the creature in yesterday.
Okay.
So it's not. There aren't too many obstacles hindering your vision as you have a look around, and you pretty quickly find a couple of bodies just strewn on the floor.
So I will jump off and go over to them. Are they humanoid? Number of arms and legs, that sort of thing? Any sort of strange or unusual features?
So they Actually, give me an investigation check.
Can I do the same, but with a medicine check to see sort of? I want to look at sort of their anatomy and see if they're like us or different to us or anything like that.
Absolutely, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
And 11.
11.
19.
19 on a medicine. So the 11, Mazdak, yes, they are humanoid. They do look familiar, but not completely. Dalen, you go and have a look at them. These look dwarven, but not entirely as you would sketch a dwarf if you were to do so. They are sort of that short, stocky stature, and they've got thick armor plating on them, as you would expect to see dwarves in. The style of which is not something you recognize. Slightly different to sort of standard dwarven armaments. And the facial features just look a little bit different to what you'd expect. Slightly bigger eyes and larger ears.
Okay. So, do you know how they died, Dalen? Is there obviously my investigation check was.
Can I check to see how they died with the medicine check?
There's some pretty hefty crushing having gone on there.
Right.
They've been squished.
Right. Okay. Do they? I mean, I'm not very good with armor and things. Kral, you might know, or Sasha, or yeah, anyone. Do they have? Are these future people? Do you think?
Well, while they were doing that, Carl would have got down and basically pulled out a set of tools and testing kits, and then would essentially begin stripping these armor plates off to have a look at them.
Okay. Give me an investigation check then. If you're taking a good look at those.
I don't really tend to wear armor as tax, so I'm not really that familiar with.
Yes, but weapons, etc.
23.
Okay. You take a good look at this and you pull a lens down or whatever, as you tend to do, to get a good look at them. The composition of this metal seems a little odd to you. But you give it a tap and a prod and you think, wow, that's really well made. That's really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Can't quite identify the variety of steel that it is, but it's a very good one. With a 23, this is probably just generational development of what you would know as dwarven armor.
Yeah. I'd say that these are probably from the future. This kind of alloy doesn't exist yet.
Right. Okay. So,
is there any weapons about made of the same stuff?
Yeah. There's a what do you call it? A polearm type thing. I can picture it, but I can't name it.
sort of halberd.
Glaive, how about?
Halberd. That's what I was going for. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, and a hammer, but yes, made out of same sort of stuff.
Is there any sort of indications of magic use at all?
Was there any essence of magic to the armor plating?
Give me an Arcana check, the both of you, if you're doing that.
I'm just keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, for God's sake.
But that's actually better than last time. I like that dice. 25.
14.
Okay.
I'm rolling balls on D&D Beyond. It's awful.
Well, between the pair of you, collectively, you can definitely identify there has been some spell work produced in this area in the last 12 hours. And you can see a couple of distinct scorch marks on the floor of like arcane energy has been shot.
Okay.
They put up a fight, but were squashed ultimately.
How many of them are there?
Just two.
Just two. So, if these two are here, then there is a possibility there are more somewhere. If we could communicate and ally them with them, they will know how to fight these creatures. Obviously, they are from this time. So, yes, we should definitely check to see if we could find any more people.
I'm somewhat worried because the clockwork golems, they were of dwarven manufacture. Now, if they're killing dwarves, that would indicate that they've lost control.
Yes, but if we could find some living dwarves, then we have an insight into how to stop these things. Possibly.
Dalen,
Yes.
you are close with death, I suppose.
Yes.
Can you talk to these people even though they're dead?
Yes. Would you like me to?
I mean,
think that
that
might
would
be a very good
ascertain for
idea.
certain if there was more of them.
Well, I could not do it today, but I could do it tomorrow. All I need is the head. I can take the head.
Like, while all this is going on, Cross continuing to strip the armor plates off these dwarves and basically packing them up.
Okay.
Is the hammer like a war hammer?
Yes.
I'll take that if no one else minds.
Okay.
If it's a decent manufacture.
I'm going to look around for any more tracks of the size of these dwarves. See if there was like anybody that ran away or...
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Miss Bernia, could you do me a favour? Could you hold on to this and Kroll will hand over the glaive? Just for now.
Kind of steady the halberd in my hand.
11.
It's difficult to see on this terrain. It doesn't look like there's any to you.
As someone who's relatively familiar with a lot of weapons, how does holding this thing feel? Was it?
If you got the halberd.
Yeah, I'm holding on to it for the moment.
Oh, now cursed. No, not really. Probably not.
It's a wonderfully made and well balanced weapon. For such a large thing, you feel, it's easy enough to wield, light and strong.
It's definitely well made.
I did think so. The manufacture of these is sublime, which is what I would have expected of dwarven work.
I can't tell if there was any more of them. I'm more of a hitting things kind of person, not a tracking things kind of person.
Let's take these bodies back with us to the city. Then, if we need to tomorrow, I can speak to them.
Dalen, how long ago did they die?
How long ago did I die? Do I reckon?
With your 19?
Yeah.
In the last 12 hours. Probably 9 to 10.
Since last night. Sometime during the night, I think. Which would mean that if they came across in the rift, they were killed once they were here. And if that is the case, that means the machines are killing them also.
Just going to sort of cast an eye about up in the sky. There's nothing flying about, no kind of big red dragon-shaped things in the sky, or otherwise any sort of clockwork flying things.
The sky's pretty clear. No need for a check. No, it doesn't look like there's anything hovering
Good,
around
good.
there.
No, in the sky, it's the blue dragons you got to watch out for.
No,
Sneaky
I think
buggers.
I'll keep an eye out for that red dragon, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
So we should get back. Is that what are we doing?
I
Are we
think so.
taking these fellows with us so that we can talk to one of them tomorrow? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Bit weird and spooky, but yeah, why not?
That's exactly the sort of spell that you don't necessarily plan for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did have it in there, but then I took it out and replaced it with Animate Dead, which I've never used.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you hoik up the future dwarves, rest them over the rump of a couple of horses, and make your way back.
Cannot get Future Sailor out of my head now from Mighty Boosh. It's just
Oh my
around. Ah,
Oh my god,
help me!
there's a throwback.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've packed up the 2 sets of plate armor, and I've got them with me.
Let's ride.
Yeah, we ride. Okay. Future sailors. It's in my head now.
Well, I had to share, otherwise, it's just going to be me. We can't have that.
So the 5 plus 2 of you make your way back to the city.
Okay.
Nothing attacks you on the way.
Good.
You can still see these things moving around in the distance, but nothing gets too close
Do
to
we
you.
see any of the future sailors at all? Future sailor. God.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, because traditionally I've been rolling really well. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Come on. Perception check. 13.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. So just
Not
the big
it
things.
anymore.
Fair enough.
Just the big things.
Okay.
So you get back to the city, and it's probably like 3 o'clock now in the afternoon.
Okay. So we should check in with the embassy to see if the portals are reopened yet, or if anything has come.
I will take these bodies to the to wherever we're going to take them to. Can't remember the name of the place.
Oh, the
Sasha Works.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The HQ.
Yeah, HQ. Whatever it's called.
The secret massage parlor,
That's it,
whatever
massage
it's called.
parlour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go to massage some dead dwarves. Nice.
Yeah.
So I will make my way across to the embassy to ask if anybody's managed to get in touch with the Grandmaster, or if the portals are now working, or what.
What message did you send? Because you had a guy use a sending spell to pass a message to
Yes,
the.
I did. To see, I got a reply from that, didn't I? Oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
I did. I just want to see if the what the status is on the portals, etc., and see if anybody else has tried to contact the mages in the teleportation.
Okay. When you head in, there's someone in there that you spoke to, the first person that you spoke to yesterday. They confirm that the portals are still shut down.
Okay.
it will be like that until they're told otherwise, which could be 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
Possibly.
Right, okay, well, thank you very much. And I'll head back to the massage parlour to see what Dalen's going to do with these dwarves.
Okay.
I'm interested. Intrigued.
I'll just stick them in the room, the rooms we had. So one of the rooms, I'd stick them and prop them up against the wall. It might seem weird and spooky to everyone else, but it's just dead bodies.
There's a few looks as you carry 2 dead dwarves through the bar to the rooms, but nobody stops you.
My rep, that would.
Could I have someone roll a d6 for me, please?
Sure.
But yeah, you can roll me a d6.
5.
Okay. So as I'm not quite sure where people are at the moment, but Dalen's obviously underground, indoors, putting some bodies in. Mazdak, you were walking back on the thing. The other 3, where were you at that sort of time?
I would have followed Dalen and come in with one of the tables, and I'd be pulling out some of these armor plates and making notes.
I would have left Kral with the halberd and found some gardens or a tree to kind of sit by and just meditate for a while.
Okay.
I would have headed back to the HQ to, rendezvous with Azrael and my father.
Yeah. So Mazdak walking back and Bernia going to find a garden. There's another pulse that you feel similar to the one that you felt yesterday, but not as strong.
Okay.
And as that washes over you, it is a strange sensation because you can sort of see it and feel it coming. And there's like mirage type lines in your vision. You can't quite make out, things are blurred. And as it washes and passes over you, you feel to begin with that your feet are a little damp as your senses come back to you. And everyone has sort of stopped and been shaken by whatever's just happened. And as you look around, you can see that there's some trees that have sprouted up with these weeping branches just in the middle of the street. And there's vines that have climbed up the sides of buildings. And the floor underfoot is just sort of boggy, swampy underfoot.
Okay. I will immediately look around. Are there any creatures of any description that have appeared?
Give me another perception check.
Yay! Good at those today.
I'm going to have a look around as well.
Yep.
Oh, that's better. 18.
Oh, blimey.
23. So the 2 of you separately immediately go into shit, what's there?
Yep.
Mode. And other than bewildered civilians, you don't see anything dangerous.
Okay.
Over to one of the trees. Kind of look it up and down. Does it seem natural, or does it seem like outside being suddenly brought here that it was just a normal tree?
Give me a nature check.
Did we feel any of that down in the bar?
You felt the pulse and a bit of sort of rumbling around you, like a minor earthquake.
Dice being nice to me.
What was that one?
It was a 19.
Okay, so you walk up to this tree and have a look. It's not like a tree that you've seen before. but it's a tree. It's a natural tree. It feels like its natural habitat is in this kind of swampy landscape. It just wasn't here before.
I'm gonna gently put my left hand on it and close my eyes and try and
Oh, you
No, we lost you there.
yeah. Sorry. Trying to think of what I'm going to say. Just put my hand on the bark and just kind of gently meditate and try and commune with Nagale.
okay. What are you? Sorry, delicious things have appeared.
Deliveries? Wow.
Thank you very much.
Ooh.
So spoiled. Thank you. So, what are you saying to Nagale? You actually trying to speak directly with them?
I'm just going to ask, are these your children? Where did they come from?
Give me a religion check, then, please, or nature. But I think they're the same for
They're
you.
the
Mate.
same.
Yeah.
I do not have the brains. There you go. My dice luck ran out. 7.
7. Okay. Yeah, there's a cold feeling that runs through the palm of your hand as you're touching this tree. Difficult to determine what that means.
Okay, I'm going to briskly walk back to the massage parlour. I'm just get there as soon as I possibly can, keeping an eye out just in case there's anything, weird or strange that I don't think should belong here.
On your way, you see a few animals, small things, little lizard, bit of a frog on a new tree. Nothing that's aggressive or dangerous or about to, not like a frog that's about to jump out of a tree and eat you because it's 5 foot big.
Cool. Okay, then I will.
And it's only Fiddy that happens to.
Yeah, that's true.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I will run into the massage parlour when I see it and explain to everybody what's. There was another pulse, which you may have felt down here, but it has changed the landscape above considerably. We are now no longer in a city as such. It's more of a sort of swamp-ish place. There are vines growing on buildings. There are huge trees have appeared with local animals as well, frogs, lizards, that sort of thing. Sort of swampy. The ground is not so solid as it was. It is very strange. I think perhaps, I'm not sure if this is future. I think it is because obviously the rapid growth of trees. But this could also be from the past. It's difficult to tell currently.
I mean, I would suspect that it probably could be from the past, given that this area may have been a swampland before.
Well, quite. Either that, or it returns to swampland in the future.
Maybe.
It's too difficult to tell exactly what will happen at the moment.
It's a problem. That's what it is.
Yes, it is, because basing off previous rifts, there will be a number of these pulses getting weaker each time before they stop completely and the portals are safe to use again. So it may be good practice to have somebody above ground to observe and try to take note of what is actually happening and changing.
Has anything dangerous emerged?
Not as far as I could see. There were some frogs, but looked fairly, but they were quite small. So I didn't kill any of them.
It may benefit us to have a look on the edge of the cities and see if we can see any squads of these dwarves or anything else emerging
Yes,
from
I think we
these
need
reefs.
to tell the what did you call them, Sasha? Families that the possibility of these dwarves being allies against the large machines.
Well, we have to get the families to actually listen to us, which is not a guarantee.
Well, I mean, they can't deny the evidence. So.
And let's face it, they don't really have much choice. I mean, the choice is work together or die.
Indeed. Well, I shall just explain to them what is happening, and they will logically follow my train of thought and see that the only possible course of action is to band together and defeat the common enemy.
I very much hope that that's true,
Well, of
but
course it will.
I have my doubts.
Oh, it'll be
Nobles and
fine.
logic.
It'll be fine.
Nobles and logic. What a joke.
Half of them will try and work out what they can get from it.
Well, what they can
How
get
they
from
can
it-
take advantage of the situation.
Well, indeed,
And-
there are many different advantages to be had. Obviously, the more of these mechanical monsters that they kill, the more rare and exotic parts and metals that they have, which will be very valuable.
That might
Well,
work in
quite.
some way of convincing them.
I can tell them all about the advantages and of banding together to kill these mechanical things. That's, it shouldn't be a problem.
Carl, you're the expert when it comes to this kind of thing. The gas that emerged when we took the creature down, would that be a strong enough explosion to demolish buildings?
I don't think it'd demolish buildings. I
No,
think
it's more of a people destroyer, isn't it?
it
Really?
would certainly kill a lot of people.
But there was no physical explosion damage to anybody, as far as I'm aware, was there? I don't think so.
No, it was not like a physical
Yeah,
explosion.
it was
It was just
A gas leak. And,
plume of
yeah.
gas, yeah.
But if that gas were to get ignited, that could cause some devastation, I would assume.
I had
Depends
thought
if
of
it's flammable.
setting fire to the gas. If it's flammable, as you say. We could certainly try.
Perhaps not within the city limits.
Well, no. Obviously, experimentation should be done in a safe and controlled manner.
I will look around for Azrael or my father.
Yeah, one sec. So neither of them are about at the moment. You can go and ask at the bar, and they tell you that they went out a number of hours ago and haven't yet returned.
Were we supposed to meet them somewhere for this meeting? Or did we...
No, they hadn't organised the meeting yet, so we
Right.
wouldn't know where it would be.
I see.
I'm assuming they would come back to find us. but I don't know, and I don't know where they could possibly be right now. Possibly at one of the noble houses, but there are 3 in this city that they could be at,
Right.
spread out all across the city.
Right, so split up and find them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm sure they will come back here when they are finished. So why don't we just wait for them?
Okay. Well, I think I'm... Hang on. Where's Bernia?
She's still out.
Right. Do we think that is wise? I mean, I know she's an incredibly capable warrior, etc., but being alone out...
Maybe we should find her and do a scout of this new terrain that's emerged.
Yes, that would be a good plan, I think. Right. So I will go back up, and see if I can find Bernia.
There is confusion in the streets. People have instantly started smashing in shop windows and stealing TVs.
Okay, cool.
Loot and pillage.
So we're saying it's North London. Gotcha.
It's not that bad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, the rifts are getting really intense.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you wander back out, start to. You were just going to go out and have a look for Bernia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Knowing she likes trees and things, I will check where there are many trees.
There are
And now there are
more
lots of trees.
than there used to be. They could be anywhere. Well, I mean, Bernia, how far have you wandered? Where might you be in relation?
I'm probably kind of just sticking to the largest kind of packs of swamp that have appeared. After I've wandered and checked, made sure there's no alligators, I'm probably just finding position with one of the trees, kind of sitting and just kind of looking around, meditating in the nature that has appeared.
Bernia! Bernia!
I'll say you look around for 20, 30 minutes and eventually you see Bernia.
Oh, Bernia, there you are. We've been looking for you.
Interesting. Many different trees now, Bernia.
Yes, nothing dangerous.
No, I didn't see
No.
anything dangerous.
I think they are a little out of place.
Do we think past or future? What do you think? I mean, it could be
I'm not
past,
sure.
but also it could be future. I mean, we are near to the sea, obviously.
Is there any way of telling how these trees are?
Ah,
I'm going.
interesting. Cutting down trees and counting the rings can often give you an indication of how long the trees have been, the weathering patterns inside them. Which
Let's
the
see
cycle
what-
of events should give you a rough approximation of how old the tree is.
But it does not tell you when the tree came from.
No, not at all.
I would say from the past, if it is as like this, everything from the future we have encountered has been dead.
True. And the past was that we encountered on the islands was lush and very much alive.
So you're basically saying our future is dead.
Well, we did every time we've encountered the future has been ashen and grey.
Considering the things we have seen come from the future.
It seems there might be a continent-wide war going on. Given that you've encountered altered flesh monstrosities. Now we've encountered mechanical made monstrosities. Every time, like you said, I mean, if these things come from the future, the land is dead, which would seem to say that there's nothing left in the soil. Things are being drained, things are being taken. Doesn't look good.
So we'll just have to change it then.
Well, we can try.
No, it does say how far that is.
No,
How
it could
long
be
that
next
is
week. It
from
could
us.
be, thousands and thousands of years away. Probably not next week, though.
I don't think it would be that quick to grow these trees. That's why I was wondering how old
No,
they
no,
were.
we're suggesting that these trees are from the past.
Yes.
Because, follow me if you can, Sasha, the future that we've encountered have all been ashen ground, not lush like this is. But the pasts we have encountered have always been thriving and alive. So, therefore, what we're saying is in the future there is mass war and devastation to nature. So therefore, we should try to change this. But we don't know how far into the future this is happening. And I made a joke and said it could be next week, it could be thousands of years, but probably not next week. Does that help? No? Okay. So, smaller words perhaps.
Enough.
Well,
Mate.
I'm just trying to explain to you what the theory is that we're discussing.
Yes, I am following it,
Good.
Mazdak.
Well, you didn't say anything, so I thought, I better just try again.
Given the evolution of the technology, it would be at least a couple hundred years. At
Yes,
least.
quite. So, but we should still try to change things.
We need to influence things now to make sure that events don't spiral that badly.
Quite.
Because what's happening now might be the tinderbox that ignites the whole thing.
Indeed. The tipping point, as it were. So, kill all dwarves.
Maybe not.
No? Convince the
Seems-
dwarves to give up the technology.
Well, it would seem that we don't know what or who made the flesh monstrosity that
This is
attacked
also true.
Bernia. So it's unfair to say that, because it might be that they made these golems in response to that as a way to fight back.
Indeed. Or the flesh monster could have been made to fight the golems.
Well, yeah, but we need to understand more first.
Well, of course. So, what we should do is, first of all, get these families to band together to defeat the current golems that we have here, because that will not influence the future, because as we know, it is not possible to influence the future by using a rift. We have proved this already. So, killing those golems, or at least corralling them so they cannot do any harm, should not have any effect on their future. So, the only thing that will affect the future is what we do in our present.
I think I follow.
Good. Excellent. Well, I can explain it further if you wish.
No,
So-
thank you.
Okay.
I think I would be okay. Thank you, Mazdak.
Okay. Yeah. No, well, if you have any questions, please ask. I can, expand.
I'd be interested to know if any more isolated pockets of these dwarvish tabs came through
Hmm.
anywhere else.
Well,
if
I
we
think
can,
we have to wait for the pulse to see what is occurring.
well, what I'm saying is some might already be here as of the first pulse.
Possibly, but as we saw, the rift, the first pulse of the rift was in that particular place, and we know it only expanded so far because we got to the edge of it. This other pulse was obviously off-centered from the main pulse, and therefore has created this swamp area. So it could have been that there are sort of mini pulses around the main rift, or, as I suspect, there was just one. But again, you could be right. There could be other smaller pulses sort of dotted around the main rift site.
Like a ripple effect.
Quite.
Right, well, I need to wait for Azriel or my father to come back so we can figure out what our next step is. But did you want to take a quick look around this area? See if we can determine any more clues?
Yes, exactly, yes. We should to see how far this swamp land goes to determine the size of the possible rifts we are looking at.
I'm going to go up to the nearest tree and start climbing it.
Okay.
Throw Kes up in the air and tell him to see how far that the sort of bog swamp extends through the city.
Okay. So actually, give me a acrobatics or athletics check as you're climbing.
Athletic, she's like hoisting herself up, not
Yeah.
like
Just-
prancing around on the branches.
Pull-ups.
Yeah, pull-ups, yeah, basically. 18.
Cool. Yeah. You find a nice big tree, easy to climb, some nice thick sturdy branches. You work your way up. You and Kes make perception checks for me then, while you've got a good view.
15.
Natural 20. 21.
Okay. You can see that this spreads, both of you can see that this spreads quite a way, but you can see the end of it. Sasha, you would determine the centre of this pulse to be somewhere to the southeast of the city, probably just outside of it. Again, it's had quite a large spread, maybe about the same sort of 30-mile diameter as the last one, maybe less.
So it's only just sort of encroached into some of the town. Most of it is outside of it.
It covers all of the city,
Oh, okay.
but the centre point was just outside.
I don't think the center point was actually in the city, just outside to the south by the looks of it. But it seems to stretch on about as far as the ash did. From what I can see from up here.
I wonder, is it perhaps a reaction, one versus the other, the future versus the past? Because this is odd. All of the other rifts, when the secondary pulses have happened, were not as pronounced, were pronouncedly different to the first pulse. So, is it possible that this is, as I say, a reaction to the first pulse, to replace dying or dead Earth with vibrant, life-filled Earth? Who knows? It's a theory.
While I'm looking around, do I see anything that could be potentially dangerous?
Nothing huge. So it's difficult to say whether the frogs are poisonous or not, but there's that sort of
I lick a frog.
smallish. Don't lick a
I'm
frog.
not
Yeah,
going to lick the frogs.
that's a. There's a PSA. Don't lick frogs.
The more you know.
But yes, there's no like bears or something that's going to start mauling people. Do you get bears in swamps?
Not usually, but you know.
Why not?
Alligators.
My world, I can make it happen if I want.
Okay. Swamp
Swamp
bears.
bear.
Ooh, swamp bears. That sounds really dangerous.
Got bears. They're some sort
Swamp
of
bears.
vicious koala.
Yeah.
No, there
Well,
are no.
There are giant sloths, but faster, because they're scary. Sorry.
It doesn't appear to be any large predator type things, but whether or not any of the smaller creatures pose different kinds of threat is impossible to say from up a tree or without actually killing and inspecting.
I can't see anything potentially dangerous from here.
So, politics it is.
Let's go back to the headquarters and wait.
Okay. You do that, and while you do that, we'll take a quick break.
Okie dokie.
Point to do that. Because I'm out of drinks.
Okay. Right. We'll be right back after these messages. There are no messages. I'm, making stuff up.
Don't think frogs.
Don't lick the frogs. welcome back. We plunge straight back in. Martin.
Okay. So as you head back down to the basement HQ of the Shadow Singers, you take a seat, get a drink, whatever you want to do. There's a short wait, 20 minutes, if anyone's doing or saying anything in that time.
Probably, I imagine that there'd be some kind of training room. I'd probably be going in the training room and working off some of the built up anxieties and stuff by taking it out on dummies and things.
Yeah. As you go into the room, there's someone in there. You realise it's Jarl, who you fought yesterday, who kind of just wanders off. It's all yours.
I won't say anything. First of all, I'll start off with getting my sword out and just going to ham. And then once I've worked out all the initial aggression, I'll get my bow out and start practicing my accuracy a bit more.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to sit and read my book.
Good stuff. So, yeah, before long, Azrael comes back in. Just comes over and sits at your table where the remaining four are. Right.
Right.
Everything okay?
Well, you may have noticed there's a small swamp.
That has caused some confusion.
Quite. But it should lend weight to any argument we have for, banding together, etc.
Yes, hopefully that helps convince a few. Where's Sasha?
I don't know.
Did she come down with you?
She did. She went that way, and I don't know where that is. So I've just been reading.
Anyway, okay, I'll go fetch her.
Probably hear some screams of, "Take that, you bastard!"
There she is.
Panda.
He just gently opens the door. Sasha?
Fuck it, man. Oh, you're back. Right,
Yeah.
sorry. I was
If you're done
working some things out.
If you're done destroying the equipment,
It's mostly okay. Yes, give me just a moment.
of course. He just wanders back out and sits back down with the rest of you.
She'll just sort of give herself a quick wipe over, attempt to distangle the sweaty hair on her forehead, and then head to the booth via the bar, getting a beer first.
Fair. Right. How was your expedition earlier?
Well, we found some two dwarves, future dwarves. They were dressed in armour that I believe Kral has. There was weapons that Bernia and Sasha have. Oh no, Bernia and Dalen have. We didn't really learn huge amounts, but if there are other dwarves from future, it would be good to reach out to them, and because they will know how to combat these mechanical monstrosities, golems, I believe he was calling them. So that would be good. We also, obviously, in the secondary pulse that happened, we've established this is all citywide, roughly the same sort of area as the first initial pulse. So I think we could probably expect a further pulse probably tomorrow.
Interesting.
I think we can deduce that the dwarves came through with the automatons, but
Yeah.
died after getting here. And I think they maybe died from the weapons the automatons have in their chests.
Okay, so we should also be on the lookout for future dwarves.
Indeed.
Okay.
I think possibly they will be rather more friendly than the automaton.
Good help.
It depends on what the circumstances are in the future. If they're at war with everybody, it could be that we are received quite opposite.
Indeed, but we should always try to talk first.
That much I agree.
Yes. Sometimes that is the best approach. Well, we have a meeting set.
Superb.
All the
This
houses
is-
going to be there?
We will have the 3 houses of Onan there. Also, of course, representation from Loughton with your father and you. Things were a little tense. We're not sure that everyone is going to cooperate. There's this ridiculous suspicions that this is all a ploy and a trick.
Who in particular?
The McLarens.
It's always the bloody McLarens.
They're the largest, most powerful of the houses. We need them more than anyone else. But also, they're probably the least likely to want to cooperate with the smaller houses because they'll think they can do it on their own. I know.
I have to say, it is quite strange to come to this place, having grown up somewhere where unity is throughout.
Where is it you're from?
Valaya.
Valaya. Well, quite. Exactly. Nothing like a perpetual war against a common enemy to unite a country. And maybe that's the situation we're going to find ourselves in.
Yes, well, Rico will never listen to reason.
Yes.
Not unless it smacks him in the face. So maybe if I write reason on my hand,
I mean,
problem solved.
Well, maybe not. You might just start it and an internecine war between the houses by doing that. So I would suggest you keep your fist to yourself.
Yes, perhaps those of us that are more used to talking to people would be best in this situation.
It was
Perhaps-
mostly a joke. Mostly.
Well, mostly, as you say. Perhaps from an outside point of view would be better. So perhaps myself or maybe Dalen or Kral would be best to speak to these people to convince them that of the facts of what we found out, that we are the investigators after all. This is what we do.
Well, I had an idea on that. Maybe we could share the perspective on this. Bernia has firsthand on what happens when these rifts open. You have been studying them and you know more about it from a magical point of view. I can give them specifics from a technical point of view. And perhaps if we go at this from multiple directions, perhaps we can provide a fuller picture, a
And
more convincing picture.
I agree. And obviously Dalen will have the inside scoop from the future dwarves tomorrow. When is this meeting set for?
this evening.
This evening. Okay, so we can bring any further evidence tomorrow to whoever we need to bring evidence to.
Just Be warned, Mazdak. They don't understand much about magic, like myself.
Well,
And if you try and confuse them with too many words, they're just going to get irritated and angry at you. They have very little patience.
so it'd be just like talking to you. Perfect. I think I've perfected that already. So what could possibly go wrong?
If you want my opinion on the matter,
Of course.
I would suggest Bernia lead the talks. A military veteran may carry more weight. From what I've heard of you, Bernia, you're calm and softly spoken, and I think that approach will do us well here.
I agree.
I also have first-hand experience with the things that come from these rifts.
The meeting is to take place at the McLaren's household. It was the only way we could get them to the table. I didn't like it.
Of course he wouldn't leave the sanctity of his home.
No. But we do need them, and he knows it. Rico will ask a lot.
I'm just going to put this out there. We may need him for what he has in this country, but he needs us more than we need him. Because the bottom line is, he needs our knowledge, or he's going to die. End of story.
I hope we can convince him of that.
Of course we can.
Well, if we can't, we can always put him out of his misery now.
Well, Sasha, you're rubbing off on your friends.
No, I just don't like politics, and I don't like nobles.
Neither do I.
Why do you think I left that life behind me?
And at the end of the day, I mean, the more divided people are, well, the more noble families there are, the more divided people become. Loyalty comes to a noble before it comes to your country, evidently, in this place.
Yes, well,
For the most part, but there are still people out there like my father who actually want to put the people first.
his voice should carry some weight. For those of you not from this country, the Heartwoods are from Loughton, the second biggest city in the country, and of the two main houses there, the Heartwoods are the largest, strongest, have most influence. So from that perspective, Dallin should help.
Right.
Carl, I would be cautious not to be too heavy-handed with this. I'll remind you this is not your country if things go wrong.
But if things go wrong, we're going to get blamed for it either way.
So, rest up, get something to eat, have a drink, no more than 2. Let's go in with clear heads. Come on, Sasha.
Okay.
While we wait, I want to lay out the armor and see if I can, if there's a way I could use these plates to piece together a full suit of armor for either Bernia or Dalen, given the material I've got.
Okay. Do me an intelligence check.
That's not too bad.
Or investigation. Yeah, make it investigation. You can have proficiency on it.
Cool. So that's 22.
Cool.
What? 32?
22.
Oh, 22. I was going to say.
Okay. So You lay them out, take a good look. This is two reasonably complete sets of plate armor designed for a small person, a dwarf, small and wide. You would suspect that you could get together a full suit for someone who would fit it currently. But if you wanted to make a suit that fit, use the material from both to make one suit to fit a larger person would require smelting it down completely. And given that it's an alloy that you don't know how to work with, that would be unlikely to work.
I was thinking about basically just piecing together the plates as they are and trying to sort of make a reasonably good suit of full plate.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. There would be too many gaps.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to, when we get back to the house, I'm going to start by melting down a little bit of it and starting to experiment with it and seeing what I can do with it. But for now, it's going to have to wait.
You can keep some of that with you. Oh, yeah. Chaz, during the break, I did find it.
Excellent.
Put it on my desk to show it and then forgot about it. But, yeah. So you can all, take a short rest if that's any use to you, and get ready for a 6 o'clock appointment at the McLaren's house.
Sit, find somewhere quiet, and probably get my pipe out and smoke it for a while.
Rummage in my wardrobe for my most respectable set of clothing. It's probably a little bit tight around certain muscle areas.
Yeah, I've got that with some of my clothes these days, and it's definitely muscle. Yeah, I agree. Galen, are you going to get up to much?
I was going to ask Mazdak. I say this thing, this hammer. Do you think this has magical properties, or is it just good metal? I don't know.
I don't know. I could try to. I've got identify. Let's have a look.
I'd also get cleaned up as well. Trying to be
I will
my
cast,
respectable best.
I will cast as a ritual identify.
Yeah.
Take me 11 minutes. Concentrate and look at this hammer for Dalen.
Okay, so you spend a little bit of time working on or identifying the hammer. As you finish up the spell, the information just fills your mind as this is a extremely well crafted enchantment enhanced weapon. It is a +2 warhammer.
Oh, nice. I'll be having some of that then.
So yes, this is magically imbued, Dalen. It's got an enchantment cast upon it, so it is indeed a magical weapon. So it's a very well crafted future sailor weapon.
Thank you, Mazdak.
You're welcome. Would you like me to look at anything else? I can.
No, maybe this big weapon that came. I don't know. I wasn't holding it. I don't use it.
Oh, the halberd. I think Bernia has that.
I gave it back to Kroll.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. It's leant up against the wall next to me.
Okay. Kral, did you want me to take a look at this?
We'll pass it over. Just
Okay.
his head's basically in his book, and he's just got it sort of held out.
Basically, Mazdak will take it. Just go, and again, I will cast Identify as a ritual.
Yeah. Yeah, so you do the same, information comes back the same.
her +2 halberd. Okay.
I wonder if that would work.
What are you looking at, Graal?
I forgot I got my Ring of the Maker, which I can
Oh,
use
yeah.
once a day to use fabricate.
Yes.
When Sasha emerges later on, she looks a little bit stiff and uncomfortable in her Sunday best, essentially. She looks like as a respectable eldest daughter should look, which she looks deeply uncomfortable.
Yes, it's sort of, I presume, just this outfit that has been kept with you just in case, or as just a memento or something.
Well, she knew that sometimes being the daughter of one of the most respected families could come in handy someday. So it's sort of there as a precautionary thing. But it's the kind of outfit her mother would be very happy to see her in. And the one that she feels the most uncomfortable in.
So a couple of hours.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just before we go to this meeting, like a minute or two before we get there, I'm going to cast ritual cast comprehend languages on myself, just in case anybody's speaking any languages I don't currently understand.
Good point. Okay, so a couple of hours pass and it gets to 5:30, 20 to 6. Azriel comes in and he's all smartly dressed up as well. Just all black shirt, black jacket, black tie.
So why can't I get away with something like that? I feel like one of those toy poodles that people carry around with them.
You should have spoken to a tailor. It could have been fixed. Anyway, shall we so it leads you out and you head to the northwest of the city, slightly outside the gates where there's this enormous mansion just outside the city with its own walls, and as you go through there's sort of two sets of gates, one on the outside on the far side to the very west of the grounds, and one that butts up with or a gate from inside the city into the grounds as well, and that's the one you go through.
Anyone paying attention who would hear Sasha be like, pretentious sons of bitches under her breath.
There are armed people just wandering around in like formation, in like platoons or centuries or whatever historical thing reference I'm going for. Just set up. They know there are people coming. You're allowed in, but this is also a show of power. There are just so many people suited up and armed as you six wander in. And there's a long straight path all the way down. There's nicely kept grounds with nice sort of box hedges separating bits of the gardens out.
Do I recognise any of the guard?
Ooh, probably. I mean, they've all got their full helmets on, so
Okay.
Not at the moment. But yeah, you make your way up to the house. The doors are enormous. Double doors are pushed open for you to go into this exquisite entry room of a very ostentatious people. And then you're led through round to the left to enter this big meeting room, all nice and stone, with a fireplace on the one side, large wooden table. At the head, he's sat this shortish man in his 50s. He's got my sort of haircut, if you can call the balding on top a haircut. But he's all
It's
decorated.
It's a style.
I just draw focus with a beard. That's what I do. Yeah, and he's all dressed up in his absolute best, just to show off, whilst also trying to look nonchalant. He's like, yeah, come on in. And again, down the sides of the room are just these armed guards with their own sort of long spear, axe, halberd type things. On the one side is sort of near that back end by the head of the McLaren house, Rico McLaren. On the right hand side is Talon Hartwood that you met earlier. On the left hand side are, what should I do with your names? Two more people also dressed up in their formal robes. Two other gentlemen with different house logos on, representing the Lacarbos and the Stainers. I believe the stables that you tried to rent horses from belonged to the Lacarbos, so that's your initial impression of them. And you are welcomed in by a butler-type person who has led you through the house. Rico, at the far end, half stands to just say, come and sit down. Let's get this over with. As he sits back down.
Thank you, Rico, for your hospitality.
Always a pleasure to see you, Sasha.
Mazdak's just going to stand up. So, we are the investigators. I, myself, am a wizard. It's very cordial and generous of you to allow us into your house for this meeting, which is incredibly important, as may have been stressed earlier by our compatriots. So, what I would like to do, my name is Mazdak. We are the investigators, a group that work for the mages of Kantichi, the Mage Council. We are investigating these rifts and reporting back our findings. We are, whilst not experts is probably not quite the right word yet, we are on our way to being so, but we would like to take some time to explain the rifts, the origination and the current dangers that the city and indeed the country face as a direct result of this latest rift. So what I'd like to do is hand you across to Bernia, who is from Valaya. She is a retired captain from the armies of Valaya, who was present at the very first rift and has first-hand experience, which she would like to relay to you so that you can understand the history of what is occurring. Bernia, if you would.
Go on.
I slowly stand up and kind of bow my head in respect.
He is there just with his cheek on a fist, just with just a stature of lack of respect for people.
Yeah, I'm probably getting flashbacks to some commander who was listening but not listening. From my experience, if you are to do nothing, then your walls and homes will be demolished by what has come from this rift. The
Is that? Oh no, you're still going.
beings that have come through, these metal golems, whilst I have not faced them, I have faced another creature that has come from the same time as them.
Time.
I do not claim to understand the magic, but it brings things forward in time, much as the swamp that appeared in the city, and it brings them back, such as the monsters that patrol and walk your fields.
So, you pointed at Mazdak. You said wizards. The wizards are involved in this.
Yes, we are investigating to try to determine the cause and how to stop these rifts. In the meantime, we would urge your good self and your companions, I'll point to the other houses, to band together to defeat these golems, as they pose an enormous risk to your country and your city, and indeed the walls of your beautiful home. I think from your posture, you seem to disbelieve what you are hearing, which is, understandable. We have faced one of these monsters. We did defeat it, but it did take 5 of us to do so. So there are at least another 20 or 30 roaming the fields. So it would be a good idea to perhaps send.
What I'm hearing is that 5 of you took down one of them, and there are a few dozen more.
Yes.
That my
indeed
army of 12,000 can handle.
Exactly.
5 of us armed with magic.
How many magic users do you have in your forces?
We've got a few.
Excellent. And what kind of war experience do these casters have?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't do the hiring.
Right, okay. Would it be possible to talk to these magic users? Perhaps I could determine their skill levels for you. As a favour, obviously.
A favour?
Yes, I certainly wouldn't charge someone of yourself. This is important work, after all.
He clicks and just asks for more wine.
Right, I see.
I haven't heard anything that makes me think I can't protect myself.
Okay, very well. Perhaps, Lord Hartwood, would you tell us of your encounter on the way from Loughton with one of these golems? How many men did you have?
Well, I had 12 men with me, Lord Rico, and they have not been seen since. They stepped in the way, told me to carry on, and I can only presume they died.
So this is 12 fighting men of House Hartwood who came up against one of these things and unfortunately did not prevail. So I think basing your opinion of what is happening on our account of 5 of us with marshals and casters and 12 marshals, it does seem a little pressing that you would at least send a scout party out to take a look, perhaps. Because if these creatures get to the town, the citizens of the town, the city, will die. And therefore will not be able to work for you and will not make you any money. It's very difficult to rule over people if there are no people.
Well, did you have some understanding of economics?
Oh, quite. So, you see, with these mechanical monstrosities destroying all that they come across, and they are headed this way, perhaps you should exactly do nothing and sit and wait for your whole life to be destroyed. Perhaps that is your choice. Perhaps the other gentlemen for the other houses would prefer to not have your assistance, and therefore take advantage of you being not in the field, perhaps.
They'll do as I say.
Really? That's
What?
absurd.
Would be your plan then?
The recommendation is that you have as many of your casters as possible, form squads to take individual golems out, shore up your defences. I'm sure that Bernia could give you more information on sort of tactics and troop movements, etc. But our recommendation would be to act now as one before everyone is dead. I don't think...
Which of the other houses have you spoken to?
We, of course, have spoken to no other houses. We came directly to you first. Because I am informed that you are the most influential. Therefore, it is correct and proper to go to the most influential house first. I believe that's how these kinds of things work.
Do the wizards teach you how to suck up to people?
I am not sucking up. I am merely stating facts as I see them. If you wish me to suck up, I will certainly not.
No, I'm bored of you speaking. Can someone else speak?
That...
Might I weigh in with my experience once again to
Go on.
suggest that how many men you have? 12,000, you say?
Yes.
One creature from the same battlefield as these mechanical golems, as has been described, was enough to obliterate, and I do not use that word lightly, obliterate a standing unit of a good 100 Valian soldiers, and what to my estimate was another good 100 Sandemian soldiers. I was the only survivor, and I reach up and dislocate my arm again, but not without cost. Now, you in your country are faced with more creatures from this battlefield, ones that rely entirely on brute strength, and ones that will blunt any weapon that has no magic to it. I respect that you are notably rich, but it does not strike me that you would invest in magical armaments, for I know that that is more expensive than can be worth for an army. If you were to send only your 12,000 soldiers to face this threat alone, you would incur heavy losses. You would draw these golems straight to yourself alone, and they would collapse through your walls and destroy your town. If you seek cooperation and alliance with the houses that you squabble with, then you can surround the problem, pinch in around these golems and destroy them without leading them back to that which is undefended.
So, if these creatures are powerful enough to destroy my entire army, what would be the purpose of having 2 armies or 3 armies if I sided with other houses? What would be the benefit?
The benefit would be tactics. These creatures are, whilst deadly, simple. Hitting them is enough to draw their attention. And if you attack them yourself alone, as I say, you will draw their ire and they will focus on you.
I am a mere businessman, not a tactician. But did anyone try rope? Can you tie their legs together?
You could try, but the energy that they can fire, if you want the full details, ask the turtle, but the weapons that they wield are deadly. You have a considerable resource in this army. Find a way to provide them with enchanted weapons. Perhaps working with other houses that have access to these resources that you do not would be of benefit. I do not know the politics of your country. I come here, I see a country divided by people who wish to have power. But if you cannot work with others, then you do not have power.
Sorry, simple view of a soldier, very amusing.
The view of a soldier that has seen so much death.
If these creatures get here, Onin will be decimated. They will destroy everything around them, and even if you manage to destroy them, they will take out many people with them. We cannot let them get that far. The loss of lives is just... it is not acceptable. And if you are a man who values those around him, not just for what they can give you, but for who they are, then you will agree to this with no question. Because otherwise, multiple innocents are going to die. Can you have that on your conscience? I can't have it on mine.
Let's have I want a persuasion check, but we've all kind of chipped in. Can I have Bernier, Mazdak, and Sasha roll D100s for me?
Ooh, D100. Okay.
$77.
Okay.
I got an 83.
85.
Ooh.
Whoa, you guys! Right. Q. Point to the Aztec. I will allow you to speak to my resident wizard. Give him some details. See what he says. But I will commit no more than 4,000 troops to this.
6,000.
5. Like you say, most of them are going to be killed because they don't have magical weapons anyway, so...
The more we band together, the less lives will be lost.
I turn, look at the other kind of house representatives and say, what can the other houses provide? What weapons do you all have? I know that Bohemia is not a land known for eternal war as my homeland is. Do you carry siege weapon? Do any of your houses have more respect for magic than the others?
The eldest of the two, excuse me, so that just to clarify, the apathy was all him, the yawning is all me.
Fair.
The elder of the other two gentlemen there, with the Lacabo logo, he I cannot offer anything by way of magic. We have no magic. We have men, frankly, in poor armor and weaponry. It's all show.
Nothing of siege.
We don't actually go to war. We just bluster a bit. And the other, Mr. Stainer, Lord Stainer, kind of peers round the elder gentleman. Actually, I've got a handful of magic users. That might help.
Indeed. The more magic users that are able to take the field, the better.
Any able-bodied could help tide the war in our favour. Because that's what it's going to be, a war. Us against these machines.
You would also do well to seek aid from the temples within your cities. Priests are much magical as wizards.
We have spoken to the temples and they have offered us any healing that they can give us.
Yeah.
We have their support. Do we have yours?
Lord Steiner just continues to. Can we actually win? I've heard these things are awful. And Rico kind of like on his heightened throne says, "Oh, shut up, hair on you, flannel." No greater insult than a flannel.
You flannel. That's awesome.
Only one thing worse than a flannel is a wet flannel.
Well, that's just the next step.
A moist flannel.
Ooh, yeah.
You've gone too far this time.
Yeah.
Fine. You've got some troops. You've got some magic users. How are you going to protect this city then?
Well, just one moment. We are not going to protect the city. You are going to protect the city. It is your city. We are giving you the information that you need to be able to do this. You are the leaders of the city, correct? Therefore, in times of war and need, It is the leader's job to lead the people. We are not the leaders. We are the ones giving you the information that you need to win this battle.
I got it. I got it.
We will, of course, assist. Bernia will be able to help with tactics. I will be able to help with the magic users. Kral and Dalen will also be able to help with magic and armaments. And obviously, Sasha will be able to help with fighting and training. So yes, we will assist, but you will be doing the leading.
Where are the nearest of these golems?
Well, have you a map? I will show you.
He looks at a wall. There's a 20-foot wide map of the country.
So Mazdak will walk over to it and get poof, his quill, and it will float up and it will draw on the map directly the location of the 30-mile diameter of where the golems are, and I will sketch in a couple of the ones that... These are just the locations that we knew about a day and a half ago. So they may well have moved. They were random wandering patrols of these golem, and this is the area we will need to be covering and circling. I think Bernia said that would be a good plan. Is that correct, Bernia? So, and I'll draw on the maps up like sort of squares for units of troops.
While all this has been going on, can I have been starting to sketch plans for the golems themselves onto a larger sheet of sort of blueprint paper type thing?
If you've got the paper with you, certainly.
Yeah, would always carry at least some with me.
When we saw them grouping earlier, could we tell roughly where they might be heading? Lawton, I'm assuming. Onan.
Yeah, the ones that you would have seen, because you didn't go. Bring the map back up. So you didn't even get as far down as Rick Wolfak, so you won't have seen anything as far as Lawton.
Yeah.
But you did see them north of that main road between Onan and Rick Wolfak. A large group of them to the north, sort of heading to their west.
Yeah, I'll just draw arrows on the map that we... this, of course, is older data because we were there, as I say, 2 days ago. So, therefore, the patrols may well be more advanced than I am showing you here. This is a rough approximation. As I said earlier, you will need to send scouts to ascertain the exact position so that you can move your troops accordingly.
And how are you going to pay for a new map? Because you've just effaced that.
I think you'll need to look again. It's all gone. I can put it back. I'll start drawing it again.
just switches, ignores that. Like, okay, can't lose face by stalling on that point. Fine. So, well, could you at least put that somewhere more permanent for me and don't draw on that? That was a gift from my...
Perhaps a paper map would be a good idea?
Yes.
Do you have one?
Not to hand.
Ah.
I will send my wizard your way. He has paper and
Perfect.
I also suggest that the suggestion you made might be wise in combating. But not a rope. It would be too flimsy against these the metal of these chains to bring them down so that they cannot fight back. It would require brave cavalry, but may work.
So your Greece worked
Yes,
quite well,
indeed.
Mazdak.
As long as you can keep them off balance, that's always a good plan.
Oh, it is also important that once one has been defeated, that you retreat from it.
Yes, poison gas is it contained within. I think Kral will be able to tell us more about that.
If you damage the core enough, I mean, fire magic didn't work against the one that we fought. Thunder magic, acid, anything like that did quite a number on this thing, but it is of such manufacture that it can absorb fire. Now, when we took it down, we'd done enough damage to it because of who we are, that the core of this thing split open, and the gas cloud that engulfed several of my companions did considerable damage. Now, I was able to use a certain amount of my skill to use my fabricate to close this thing up. But it might be that, if you bring it down, your men need to retreat as quickly as possible.
Okay. Sounds easy enough. Keep it off balance. Bring it to the ground. Kill it from a distance.
Kral will basically present him with essentially what would be the specifications, as close to as he could get.
Just do the quick
things.
performance check, see how good that is.
Oh, no, that one's on the floor. Let's try this one. 17.
Well, he, again, just clicks and points at it, and someone comes over and picks it up and wanders off with it. I will have that analysed. Is there any more?
It depends on whether or not you can get your hands on a number of magical weapons to at least arm some of your men and give them a chance.
Not really. We don't keep magical weapons. Like your friend said, it's not worth the cost.
Regular weapons can do damage, but it is limited.
Oh, you made it sound like they would be ineffective completely.
I mean,
Did I think they would be ineffective completely, or?
No, they're resistant to non-magical weapons, weren't
So
they?
yeah, it's just
Resistant to-
resistance.
It's going to be like a child with a stick against a fully armored knight. Let's face it, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to be. It's going to be annoying rather than it's going to hurt.
Yes, but I would hazard that you could kill a wasp. But if there were 1,000,000 wasps, they'd take you down. We've got enough people.
It is about mitigating how many wasps you lose.
There are only wasps.
But if you lose enough, your hive won't survive.
I kind of wince from that statement.
And you are clearly someone that has never seen a battlefield, otherwise you would not be so callous.
No.
Why
Going to
be on a
war,
battlefield when you can pay others to do it for you?
well, going to war is desperate measures. Well, if you could leave me some details of where we could find you, I will send some people to discuss certain aspects.
Yes, I think you should send send the captain of your guard and your most prolific magical user if you have one.
I believe the communication may go through Mr. Asriel. He will know where we are.
Do I have to deal with the mercenary?
In this case, yes.
And he sat in the room, and he does that sort of, you know what, mate, thing, but like calms himself. Okay, fine. I'm convinced. Shall we wrap this up?
I'm glad you're convinced, otherwise I would have had to have taken you out there myself to convince you.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, if I think we are indeed concluded for this evening, this would be a good time to retire, get some dinner, and some rest. If you would liaise with Mr. Asriel, we will happily advise your advisors. Thank you for your time.
Farewell.
Shall we?
Gentlemen,
Kral's already up and out the door at this point.
Yeah, Master, I want to be the last out, so I want to make sure that everybody gets out without actually trying to kill anyone.
as soon as I get outside, the closest guard's getting shoved over. I don't care.
Is that whether or not you catch eyes with him, but your father is sort of trying to give you a like look, like that was okay.
No, I'm too angry.
Fair.
I'll just reattach my arm kind of in the middle of where I was standing and then kind of nod and make my way out.
Yeah, it'd probably be the second one out, just sort of sick to death of all the hypocrisy and everything in the room and just want to get out and, like I say, take my aggravations out on the nearest guard who looks at me funny.
So you are.
It's a bit unfair, taking it out on the poor as a spec
Yeah.
that can't hit your back.
But
I'm
if-
just shoving him over. It's not like I'm, stabbing him with a sword or anything.
Bully.
Still bullying behaviour.
Yeah, big bully.
So, I will, as I'm sort of closing the door, I'm just going to, my quill is still by the map, and I'm just going to draw a big penis on it before I leave, and I'm not going to wipe that off.
Is that magically there then?
Yeah, I can write anything on any surface. I can also remove anything from any surface that I've written with the quill,
Right.
if I want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
it's a feature of it, so.
Can that be cleaned off by a
Oh yeah, it's just ink.
non-magic means? Right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's just ink.
Scribes?
So you have now left the room and are shown to the front door
Mhm.
and escorted off the property.
Ah,
I will be unfailingly polite to everyone as we go. It's not their fault they work for an asshole.
I just ignore everyone.
Kral's basically doing that unstoppable force thing. He's massive, he knows he's massive, and if people don't get out of his way, they're getting bumped. As walking towards the door.
Yeah, people are getting out of your way.
It helps that he's got a crossbow that's nearly the size of them as well.
So you're now off of McLaren property,
So,
back in the city.
that went well. Ish. He is a massive bellend.
I mean,
that is the biggest understatement of this year.
his head was the right shape.
Well, it was when we left. I can't guarantee it won't be again if I meet him. He looked quite fetching with a big purple tinged hole through the middle of his face.
I was more than prepared to drag him down to the battleground myself to show him up close and personal exactly what these creatures are made of.
But he has committed, and hopefully other houses will come round and join.
I mean, if the Temple of Amriel here has agreed to help, and a couple of the other temples as well, their satellite temples in the other towns will, of course, take their lead, I believe, and offer the same sort of help to the forces in that area. So,
You would certainly hope so.
I'd imagine so. The temple in Onan is the most respected, and as they're all followers of Amriel in this country, they would all follow suit.
I still find it extremely odd, the lack of magical armament
It is very
With-
strange.
when they share a border with the dwarves. You would think that they would outfit their armies with these things as a, as a show of force, as a show of prestige, as a
Well-
show of power.
It was quite...
Well, how
Telling.
much does it cost for a single magical weapon?
It can be a premium, but these people are
Extrapolate that to an army, and
But
then
even if-
consider how much these people like their castles and mansions.
Guys like Rico just prefer making things look good rather than being actually useful.
even if you only arm your officers or your personal guard, you would still do it if you could. I would hazard a guess that these people are not as rich as they would like us to believe.
Well, they did
And-
say that this was actually only for show. They don't actually fight each other.
Well, they're going to
Also
have.
case, and to the average person cannot tell that a weapon is magical.
Well, they're going to have a fight on their hands now.
Indeed. But
I'd imagine I could take on their best man blindfolded, with my hands tied behind my back.
well, be that as it may, we have the agreement, and therefore we have done what we can. We must go back to what we do, which is investigating things.
We need to work out where these things are going to hit, whether it's Onan, Lawton, or any of the other towns or cities in Oninia.
Well, I mean, we've already taken chances that. I mean, we're in a position at the moment where travel via teleportation is problematic. So, I think we can safely say that Contarara's minions and Contarara would have an issue getting here, but it's not beyond the doubts of it
Well.
actually happening.
Well, Contarara is a dragon, and they do fly. So,
Well, this is
If Contarara comes here, we'll lure her into the golems.
I think that might
That's
be
a
the
very
best
good plan.
option.
She would stand little chance against them.
well,
Well,
she is a
Consider
dragon.
that you said that fire did nothing to them.
Fire did nothing to him,
That's
but
true.
she's a dragon with really large claws.
This is
And
also
rather
true.
large teeth, too.
She could probably just tear the head off it.
And I think a dragon itself would class as a magical weapon.
They are
I don't
certainly
know.
inherently magic. Anyway,
But if
let's eat and wait for these guard captains and magic users and see what we can do to assist them.
I think you're right, though, that we need to treat these people with respect. They're going to be risking their lives
Oh,
and
yes.
for somebody that doesn't respect them. The least we can do is prepare them properly.
Exactly.
Of
A
course.
soldier is more than a tool. And
Myself and Bernia can help with the training of weaponry. And of course, you three are more magically inclined.
Well, I would
So-
suggest that Dalen's quite handy with a hammer too.
Well, that is also
Having
quite
seen him
true.
smash things very hard with a hammer.
And I do not use magic. I use energy from my god.
There you go.
It is different in magic.
It's a different type of energy, but it still manifests the same. It's divine in magic and nature rather than being arcane.
I will get my hand on a copy of a map, and we can start making some tactical plans, perhaps.
Indeed.
I can. You have spoken up a lot. You have talked me up a lot, Master. I can command on the field, but I think an operation of this scale is a bit beyond my capability.
I'm sure you will do absolutely fine.
We're here to assist and advise, not to take charge.
Precisely.
But I will be at the front fighting, because this is my home. Regardless if I still live here.
It's a good way to go.
Very good. And with that, I think we'll end tonight's session.
Yay!
Cool.
That was good.
Politicians and diplomats and war leaders and generals and advisors and a bit of everything today.
Yeah, indeed. I was when you said persuasion roll, I'm like, yes, I've got a +6 to persuasion. See what I can do. And you went D100. I'm like, ooh, okay,
Yeah,
random.
Yeah. I was sitting there when you said persuasion, I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll take that. +7.
+4.
Fine by me.
Even I've got +4
Yeah.
persuasion.
Or maybe I should have just gone a D20 each and averaged it or something. But I don't know. It felt like it was more than just a standard.
I don't know. I don't get me wrong. I thought it was brilliant. It was good fun. And
Oh, it was clever.
It was the way to do it. But yeah, it was great. Yeah, I thought that was...
If it helps, I also rolled a D100 and mine was only 21.
So we all rolled really well there.
We did. Yeah.
You did,
I
yeah.
was the lowest with 77.
Yeah. Mm. Cool. Do you know what? I find it really hard playing an arsehole.
Yeah.
Because you're
I
so
agree.
lovely, Martin.
To be fair,
Oh, thank you. I thought this was going to go the other way. Like, oh, but you seem such a natural.
well,
I'd never say that.
if it helps, I really didn't like him. So
That was what I was going for.
yeah, that worked. That absolutely worked. That was
Yeah.
well done.
Sasha totally wanted to punch him in the face, and I think so did I.
Yeah.
I imagine she was there sort of gripping the table, and there's sort of like little dents in it where
Yeah,
her fingers have been.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it's going to take him to notice the big penis on his map behind him. So we'll see.
And she probably ripped a few seams in her outfit as well, where her muscles have been tensed.
So yeah, that was brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. So, if you're all done, Martin,
Yeah.
thank you very much for watching. We had a great time. Thanks to Martin. Thank you very much, Martin. Thanks to our players. Thank you, players. We will be back here on Tuesday for Helleran Rising. Ooh, that'll be exciting. And I will be doing the recap this week. So, it'll be what I think's important. So that'll be interesting for you, won't it? So, yeah, we will see you there at 7:30. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, well, fuck you. If you did, thanks. And we will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.
No investigators next Sunday.
Oh,
So.
right. So, no investigators, but Helleran is on Tuesday. No investigators on Sunday, but
No investigators on Sunday, right? Okay.
we will be... see you very soon. Bye.